Hey there, name lovers or random watchers of YouTube. Today was my first day of class of the school year, and finally it is my last year of school, hopefully. And I only have 6 classes left that I need to take, but since some of them are only offered in the fall and some in the winter, I have to take both semesters. So I get to take some fun classes like Italian, just to fill in my credits and be a full-time student. So today I had French and then I had Italian class. And I thought it would be cool to look at some of the names of the people in my classes. So I made a list of the more interesting ones. So the first one that was really interesting, and I didn't get to see them all written down, so I had to guess how to spell a lot of them because I only could listen while she was taking attendance. The first girl was sitting right next to me, so I got to see how hers was spelled, and her name was Bona, which I looked it up, and it's a Hebrew name that means a builder, and I had never heard that name before. I thought maybe it was just an invented name, but I was surprised that I found a meaning for it very easily. I think it has a pretty sound, but the problem with it is it kind of sounds like boner, so I don't think I guess it's usable because I met somebody named Bona, but I think you would get teased a lot for it. I don't know. I wonder if she's gotten teased for it. I'm not going to ask her. I don't really know her, but thought it was interesting. The next one was Ariel, or Ariel, depending on how you want to pronounce it, which I think is a really pretty name. Not a very common one. It's number 501 from 2011. The next one is Paula, which I do not like the name Paula or Paul, so when I heard it I wrote it down because it's not super popular. And I do not like it. I don't know why. I don't like the sound of Paul or Paula. And also it reminds me of Paula Abdul, although I do like her. But the one thing I do like about this name is I love the nickname Polly. I think it's super cute. But I don't know. I don't like Paula. I wanted to use Polly. I would almost rather just call my kid like Pollyanna than Paula. I don't know why. I hate Paula. Okay, the next name I found is Corinne, which is a variation of Cora, and I think Corinne is a really cute name. The first time I heard this name was a singer called Corinne Bailey Rae, who was popular when I was in high school, and not super popular, but she had a hit. And this name means maiden or virgin, which is kind of a sweet meaning. I think it's a pretty name and a very usable one. The next one is Veronica, and Veronica is not a particularly rare or bizarre name, but I think it's a pretty name. And I looked up the meaning of it, which I didn't know before. It's bearer of victory, which almost reminds me of Victoria when you hear the meaning of it. But I think Veronica is such a cute name, and I love the idea of a nickname Ronnie. I don't like unisex names a lot, but I like unisex nicknames for some reason. I think just because then technically it's not a boy's name, but she has a cute boyish nickname. And then with Veronica, since this was in French class, the teacher called her Véronique, which I think is very cute. You probably couldn't use it in America because people wouldn't want to pronounce it the French way, but I love Véronique in French. The next one is the name of my Italian teacher, and her name is Delia, which is a very pretty sounding name, and she is Italian, and so in Italian it's pronounced Delia, and it means delight, and it is a contracted form of the name Adelaide. And Delia is barely in the top 1,000. It was number 990 for 2011. I think it's a very pretty name, and it's not very common. I hadn't heard it before, so it was a nice, new, fresh name. The next one, this is actually, I went to the grocery store after my classes were done, and the cashier's name was Dodie, which, just looking at it, it reminds me of like a dodo bird. I couldn't believe that was her name. I thought it was so weird. And I looked it up, and apparently it is a nickname for Dorothy, and it means gift of God. And I like the name Dorothy. For most people it makes them think of Wizard of Oz, but for me I have an Aunt Dorothy who is, well, my great aunt. It's my grandmother's sister. And so it makes me think of her, and it just sounds like such a dated name to me, Dorothy, but I love Dorothy a lot more than Dodie, and if I named my daughter Dorothy, I would much rather call her Dot or Dottie than Dodie. I just think that is such a weird name. I don't know, does anybody watching this like Dodie? If you do, let me know, or why you like it too. The next one was going back to my Italian class was Larissa. I think Larissa is a really pretty name, and it's not that common. It is number 853, and it means lovely, so it has a great meaning, and I think Larissa is really a good name. I would use it if I didn't have other favorites before it, but I think it's a really beautiful name. The next one was, I just thought interesting because this was in my Italian class, not in my French class, and this guy's name was Jean-Paul. So I was a little surprised to have a Jean-Paul in my Italian class and not in my French class. So I don't know, I wonder if he is French, because it's a very bizarre name to have in America. The next name is Alicia, which means truth, and I had never heard this name before either. I had kind of guessed on the spelling, and then when I got home, I looked it up and found the correct spelling. So that's assuming she spells hers the more standardized way, which it's an uncommon name, so there's a likelihood she doesn't. But anyway, I thought that was a pretty name. Not one that I would personally use, but I do like it. It kind of reminds me of Aretha, like the famous singer Aretha Franklin. The next one is Calvin, which is a cute name, not very common nowadays. It was the most popular in 1920s, and it's currently number 209, so it's not that unpopular. But it's definitely a more unheard of one. And I like the name Calvin, but once I found the meaning of it, I liked it a little less because it means little bald one, which makes sense because in Spanish the word calvo means bald. So I don't know. I guess babies are born bald. It's kind of cute, but he won't be a baby all of his life, so that's a little weird. And the last name is Shivani, and I couldn't find any information on this name anywhere. And I've had a class with this girl a couple years ago, and she is an Indian girl. So I don't know if it's an Indian name or if it's just a created name. Or maybe it's a variation on a spelling, but it's so variated that I can't find the original. So if anybody knows anything about the name Shivani, and I believe this is the way it's spelled from having her in a previous class, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, if you guys know anything about the name Shivani or any similar spelling or any similar name, please comment or message me or something because I'm really curious and I couldn't find it anywhere. So, yeah, do you guys like any of these names that were in my classes today? Are there any weird names you've had classes with or, like, cool ones? I guess I'm kind of a weirdo in that I, like, listen really intently while the teacher's taking attendance because I love hearing everybody's names. But if you guys like names enough that you're watching my videos, maybe you're the same way. So, I hope anyone going back to school is having a great school year so far, and have a great day. I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.